What's up, y'all? I got to say thank you to all the listeners of GLE. We have 23 countries just tuning into the audio version of the podcast, which is pretty wild. Never thought we would grow like this and be impacting thousands around the world. But, it's not even including all the social content we put out, and it's not even including YouTube. So, pretty cool. So grateful to the GLE Nation for all their support. And I really appreciate it if you share the show. I get a lot of good feedback from people. I hear from you all the time out in the GLE Nation. And, the best way to really help GLE and its mission is to share the show. Share it with somebody that could benefit from it. Share it with people who, might be able to share it with other people who they know that can benefit from it. Play it while you're in the car with friends so they can hear some, maybe some truth that they're not hearing in other places and other podcasts. Expose people to GLE so they can strengthen their faith, love, truth, and courage and be better leaders in whatever they're called to do. I'm taking a few notes from Andy Frisella. He's a pretty raw individual. And honestly, when I first was introduced to Andy, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I've really changed my opinion as I've gotten to hear some of his content and hear his heart. And I encourage you, as you encounter people that might rub you the wrong way initially, to really just focus on hearing their heart. Look past some of the things that might maybe make you twitch or, turn you off initially. It's really easy for just little minor, non really significant things in the grand scheme to turn you off. And so I just encourage you to give people a chance. And one of the things he does really well is he talks through his show formats. And we've had really two formats here on GLE. So I just like to share those with you. One are the interview formats. We'll do interviews from time to time. It's been a while since our last interview, but we're going to get those going again. And real truth are just, short videos like this one where I share some knowledge with you and help you be a better leader. So we're going to dive right into one that's really helped my mindset, and that is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's really good. You probably listened to it a couple dozen times. And, really what he talks about in there is how success is simply knowing a predetermined goal and working towards it. If you want to be a teacher and you're a teacher, that's really a definition of success that can translate broadly across many, many different areas of life. And as I think back on my life, sometimes you might go through this as well. You probably do, where, you feel like you could have accomplished more or done more, and perhaps you could have. But I think back to just all the things I've actually wanted to accomplish in my life, right? Be on sports teams. I ended up captain of every sports team I ever played on. I had 14 varsity letters when I graduated high school. Graduated high school with honors, had a full tuition scholarship to university. That was a goal of mine. I wanted to be an engineer, was a civil engineer. Ended up honors in engineering in university, 2-year captain of sports, right? In baseball. Got a job offer in the energy space 6 months before I even graduated. Was promoted quickly in corporate engineering, served in leadership roles in my church, in my community, my neighborhood. Got married, wonderful wife, dog, now 2-year-old daughter, and started a podcast, started a couple businesses. That's stuff I always kind of wanted to do. And just recently made the jump from engineering over to the commercial world and business development. So as you think back on your life, I think back on mine, and I consider myself very successful according to this definition. And, sometimes it doesn't feel that way because maybe you're the type like me where maybe you kind of aspire to more, and you always kind of find yourself looking for more and wanting to learn, and you're on a growth journey like I am. And that's good. That's good. But, it's not that wanting more makes you ungrateful for the things you have. I mean, it just makes you think, what if I had shot for more and had a bigger vision and had a bigger aim? Because if you really go back in your life and you think about all the things that you really wanted to go for, I'm willing to bet you probably ended up with them. Maybe not in the time you expected, but if you really had goals in mind, set in your head, owning a house, owning a car, owning whatever, I bet you ended up getting it. And so what if you'd have had a higher goal that you were working towards? You think you'd end up getting it too? There's a couple exercises that Jordan Peterson has a self-authoring course. And I've also heard of like a reverse eulogy exercise where, they're basically courses to help you, or exercises to help you better understand your weaknesses and strengths and better understand what a good goal for you might be, and kind of author your next chapter in your life. Getting really clear on your vision and where you want to go is just so huge for leaders, for anybody really. And so, one of the hard truths of this success principle is, that journey is going to take longer than you expect it to. You think about Joseph in the Bible, right? He had a vision, even a lofty one, that his brothers were all going to bow down to him someday. It was a dream that he was given, that they would end up bowing down. And then they sold him into slavery. He was accused of rape, put in jail, ended up in Egypt, who knows how many years and decades later, ended up the right hand of Pharaoh in Egypt, basically saved the whole nation of Israel during a famine, right? Like, you think Joseph was maybe pretty discouraged along the way as he was sitting in prison? Did you think he thought he was a success, right? And, you got to realize that journey is going to take longer. It's not King David in the Bible. He killed Goliath as a young boy, and everyone loved him. Yet for the next, I don't know, 10 years or so, maybe more, he was chased by King Saul. Saul tried to kill him, right? Because he was envious of him, right? The king that should have been thankful and praising him for getting him out of that bind with Goliath. David went through all that before he was even made king, right? And you just got to, Gary Vee talks about patience. I don't like that word really, but it's almost a realization that you are already a success before it shows up, because you are preparing yourself and God is preparing you to be ready to receive that which you desire. And so, he may not choose to give it to you. He might have other plans for you, but I'm willing to bet if it's on your heart that God gave it to you for a purpose. And if it's on your heart and your heart is centered in God's word and his truth, then you probably have it on your heart for a good reason. That's not a selfish, self-centered, evil mindset, but a good, truthful, right mindset aligned with God's word and will. So as you think about this principle in your life, I just encourage you and ask you, what type of man or woman do you want to be? What type of father and mother or mother do you want to be? What type of husband? What type of wife? What type of impact do you want to have on your family and your family legacy? Do you sit back and rely on other people to figure out the whole, taxes and insurance and, how money works and how we should invest and, making good decisions for your family financially? Do you even have a budget? Do you know what your net worth is? Do you have assets and liabilities clearly tracked? Do you even know what your income and expenses are? Simple stuff like that, which, are a responsibility of especially men of the home to lead their family. And a wise man leaves a legacy to his children's children's children, right? And that's just, it's just one aspect. There's a lot of ways to leave legacies, but, for a lot of, I'm guilty of this myself. I ignored many of these things. I said, that's not for me. Other people can worry about that. I don't get it. I don't need to learn about it. Well, it's an obligation to take the reins and not rely on other people, because guess what? If you do that, you're going to end up being manipulated. And that's how our country's gotten to where it is today. We've been manipulated. We've been lied to. We've been betrayed. We've been brainwashed, quite frankly. MK Ultra brainwashed through programming, coming through a magic box on the wall. And, it's going to be hard to break that spell, but you can do it. Start the journey. Something's going to have to happen in you to make you stand up and go, I'm taking responsibility. I'm willing to question everything I've been taught or believed my whole life. And I really need to seek the truth. Seek and ye shall find. Seek and ye shall find. So I hope this helps you all today. I hope it makes you think about where you want to be and you get a clear vision for where that might be. So, who do you want to be? Go lead everything.